me. We'll see how it goes. I probably should be using the, I wonder if they are charged. Nope, of course not, because I let them sitting around too long without using them after I charged them. Okay, well, you don't need to be a part of that. Let's see. We've got all of our cards in here from the last read that we did. It is currently 3:20 in the afternoon on 5/7. In case anyone watches this at a later date. Here we are. Shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. Baby steps, rose-colored glasses, and commitment. For those, it's hard to see. I thought I had a better lighting. Oh, I sure did. I thought I had a lighting fix here. So hopefully you'll be able to see these better. Wah, wah, wah. We've got baby steps. Just the words. Bless you. We've got commitment with the wedding rings. We've got the rose-colored lenses. And we've got juggling. Let's see. So either someone is juggling their commitments, but they're trying to have a good outlook on things, and taking baby steps in order to respect those commitments. Or, well, commitments can be anything, right? It can be relationships, it can be jobs, projects, anything of that nature. So just taking small steps towards committing, maybe even to a habit, a new habit. Perhaps even baby steps to a new change of the way you view things. I mean, it does not happen overnight. It is baby steps. Just like when you take on a new faith, it's baby steps. You're a baby in that faith. You're just starting. Job, baby steps in your job. You've got to learn new things while you're there. You're not going to instantaneously just walk in and say, hey, I know how to do every single thing, unless you were already doing it somewhere else. But then on the other hand, you could always learn new things. I know a lot of times I'll go to like a seminar or something on a topic that I know quite a bit about, and I'll end up going just because it's like you never know what tidbit of information could come out within, you know, that time frame that really changes the way you see things. I absolutely love learning things. We've got, oh shucks. The other night I was out and I saw this on the road and I was so sad, but I'm like, it would probably make a good card. Someone just being left, just rolled over and just left there to just. So maybe someone's trying to have a good outlook on a ending of some sort, on a horrible ending, unexpected ending of a project or lifestyle. Things as we knew it. That's horrible. That just brought me right back to the vision that I saw when I was out there. It's just so sad. It was a little possum. It was probably almost a foot long. It was a little baby. We've got a pest coming out here with to swear on a religious book. Maybe this person's promises are pesterouous. They're draining. Maybe someone's pestering another person to tell the truth. Or pestering someone to stay true to their word. I mean, if you took an oath, you should stand by the oath, right? I mean, if you can't stand by your oath, then what can you stand by? I mean, I guess some people who don't really value, I was going to say the art of truth and integrity, because literally some people just can't do it. And if that's the case, then they may need some other help. You're missing the point and parade. Someone could be quite proud of themselves in being dishonest. Maybe I'm missing the point. We've got an island here. Maybe someone's isolated. Maybe someone's telling falsities on the reason why someone is isolated. Maybe there's some kind of testimony that's being done regarding someone being isolated. Why are you isolating this individual? We've got camera and the sun, and look at that. We've got the same color scheme in the back of both of those. Documentation of the sunny personality, documentation or memories of things coming to light. Splitting the deck, we've got thoughts. Y'all know my thoughts on taking an oath. To swear could also be, you know, of course, to be the curse word person who likes to use curse words, colorful language. There was a time I used to cringe about hearing curse words because I just thought they were just so tacky. But I do have to say that I have myself cursed here and there. We got a situational ship with braids. Someone is trying to weave in some kind of storyline about a situational ship, perhaps. Okay, that one in the front. Roller skate, trying to take the easier way out. Of course. Have you been roller skating lately? It's a whole different set of muscles that you use. And then we're swearing again. Someone's trying to skate by their oath, perhaps, or skate by their word. I don't know why I just heard living by the seat of their pants. And then we have the sun here. Everything's being illuminated, whatever it is. So you can stick your rose-colored glasses on that. All right. Bottom of the deck, we have the Sprout card, which was the second card out in yesterday's story, I believe. So that's our overall energy. Something is coming to the surface, breaking through the surface, being seen. Something that was meant to be covered has now been coming out. Ooh-wee. Split of the deck, we've got a croc or crocodile. So someone could have been trying to cover some kind of evidence, perhaps. This is kind of like my getting rid of evidence card, because back in the day with the Sopranos, I saw that they used to take evidence down to the crocodiles. And that was a sure way of getting rid of that evidence. I wonder if I turn this ball on that you'll be able to see that. I don't know. Yo-yo. It's just a crock of games. This is a whole crock. Maybe someone is trying to practice something, because you can't play a yo-yo. I mean, some people can. Like straight out the little box. It takes a little work, right, to get the momentum going. Just was thinking about the crocodile and how they sneak up on their prey, right? All of a sudden you see them come up out of the water and you're like, wow, where'd that crocodile come from? Not me personally, because, I mean, I've only seen really crocodiles like on a Disney cruise or on TV shows. I've never really, that's kind of an interesting thought that I've never really seen a real live. Maybe at the zoo. But they live underwater for the most part, and they just kind of come up, and you're like, wow, where'd that? And they sneak up on their prey. So, I mean, someone could be trying to play some kind of sneaky games, right? Those sneaky games are coming out to the surface. We've got ghosts and ghouls. First thoughts were people from the past, people that you may have known before. And then I thought family. Ghosts and ghouls. Passed on people. Maybe spirits are playing sneaky little games, if you believe in that sort of thing. And then we've got an empty dog bowl. Now, depending on a puppy's schedule and when they eat, an empty dog bowl might be comforting or like not a big deal for that puppy, because it knows that when you come back at night, you're going to come and fill that puppy bowl up again. I personally will always leave food in the bowl and even the resource or the main bag kind of open, so in case for some awful reason that I'm not privy to, that I am not able to make it home. I mean, we don't know when our appointment time is, right? You know, our animals shouldn't have to suffer because of it. I'll leave extra out. But in some regards, there are some times when the bowl is empty and, you know, it causes anxiety. Where are they going to get their next meal? Or just, maybe they're just empty inside. Maybe they're nothing but a ghost at this point because of their sneaky games. You were able to put 4 here before. I don't know what happened. I don't know. Maybe someone's loyalty has run out. Remember, we did have that card in the beginning regarding sorry, I'm just feeling a little exposed at the moment. Give me a sec. Okay. Front of the deck, we have braids coming out again. Chameleon. Someone who was once trying to blend in, or they have the option of blending in. Braids are weaving things as well. I'm getting a brain boom. We got a raccoon, someone trying to steal something. They're little scavengers, right? Little thieveries. What is he looking at? Let's see. The Neanderthal. Interesting, interesting. Look at that raccoon looking right at the Neanderthal. I don't know if you can see the pencils. Someone has an empty past because of their sneaky games. They have nothing in their cup. They're completely empty. What they had in their cup is completely just vanished. Now you see it, now you don't. Are they going to be able to provide for themselves? Maybe whatever it was that was taken, or they were living off of, or the games they were playing. Again, with the sprouts, since the sprouts coming up over the surface, they're still trying to conceal. I don't know why I'm thinking misgivings or mishaps or their scavengerness and their explosive demeanors. Neanderthals, of course, had, from what I understand and what I read, is that the Neanderthals had a close-knit family bonds, but they would lash out. They were very emotionally inept, I guess it would be. They just really just like me want, and that's all they really cared about were their instincts and what they wanted at the time, and it really didn't matter. And then they would bop you over the head if they didn't get what they wanted, right? Very simplistic designs and art. But of course they were able to make tools. They were hunters, things of that nature. Just really old school, ancient. And there are people today that obviously have Neanderthal DNA. Some more percentages than others, which I find interesting if it really correlates to their personality. I don't know if it does. Maybe in some parts, right? Because it doesn't always have to be the emotional part of it. We've got making a deal with the devil. Maybe this was a whole situation that they made an agreement, depending on your belief systems. Maybe in a past life, or maybe in the very beginning of time, they had made this deal with the devil, or maybe they were just really immature at the time when they made this deal. If it's more of a current time, microphone. There's going to be some kind of announcement wanting to be this center of attention, the star of the show. Maybe that was the deal. We'll make you a star. All you have to do is this. And because of their lack of maturity, they're like, okay, I'll steal the show. Egg. A new beginning. Somebody wanted a new beginning, so they made a deal with the devil, meaning that they made some kind of arrangement, or they started living some sort of life, or they created some kind of storyline, or they did something in order to change what they had already done, versus just taking responsibility for what it was that you had done and dealing with the consequences of those things and moving on. I mean, I always found that when you take responsibility for your choices, life is a lot easier. Sure, there's going to be a hiccup or something that you're going to have to deal with. That's going to be like, oh my gosh, I know, and it's just whatever. But it's like, come on, eventually that goes away. So why make it worse? Why carry it on? So clearly someone had made a poor choice that they tried to cover up. They had their sneaky ways, just like we had in the cut of the deck. It could have been a bad choice that they had done, like, you know, what about my situation I've shared? Well, how long ago was that? 2000s? I guess is when 2008. 2008, I believe, is when that incident had happened. And if I'm going to use that example, I mean, that was a poor choice on his part, right? And so let's just say this person made a poor choice and they were trying to save face because they didn't want to be seen that way, and maybe they don't even recall the situation. Maybe I'm telling you, his eyes turned black. And I knew in some part of myself, it was not him I was dealing with at that time, depending on what you believe in. But for me, living that situation, and I could have just been trying to rationalize things in the rose-colored glasses kind of sense, But that was not the person that I had known, and as I said, his eyes turned black. So if his eyes had turned black, and I can't speak for that person because it's like, you don't know. But I'm assuming that maybe if his eyes turned black, then perhaps he wasn't in his right mind frame. And maybe he wanted to save face, and maybe he doesn't even believe what happened. Which I've heard is true for some people. Their ego just doesn't want to accept it or believe it. But instead of just understanding, like, yes, this really did happen like that, you really did do those things that were said that you did. I mean, when people are, I'm not saying this individual is this because it's just an example I'm saying on the other side, but when someone is like the people who are compulsive liars, they do that because their own reality isn't what they want their reality to be. So they'll tell lies in order to dress up or make their reality seem like something else. Right? Those can be sneaky games. So for someone else who's living in that kind of mindset, a little bit of a dysfunction, they may want their lives to seem different than what they were, and so they'll try to accommodate their lie and trying to make it into a truth by playing sneaky games. Making deals with the devil, right? So this person may have gotten or thought they had gotten an opportunity in order to start a new life and not have to take responsibility perhaps for their outbursts or their actions or their storytelling or their sneaky ways or what they had done. So they wanted to make a deal and say, you know what, this is the deal I'm making, whether it's like an actual spiritual entity or a fight with their shadow side or the dysfunctional side of themselves, and say, this is what I'm going to create, and this is what I'm going to believe, and this is going to give me a new life and a new start. Long story short, we've got the witch's hat. So maybe they dabbled in that kind of thing. Maybe it was part of their family lineage. Mind you, folks, these are stories. Taking the lead, maybe they allowed their spiritual making spell work. Maybe they allowed that to take over. Maybe they met with someone who is a spiritual practitioner. The cats meow. Maybe they were really into this person. Maybe they were actually dating and they allowed this person to take the lead on the situation. Maybe they were telling this person, this is what happened, this is what happened. And then the person that they were seeing, even though I don't have another person card on here, I guess there's 3 goose and ghouls. This is what happened, woe's me. And this person really thought that this person, believing in all of the things that they were saying, oh, let me help you. That's horrible. Let me take care of that situation. Only to find that they're the donkeys behind. Seriously? Seriously. They bore the weight of the whole situation. When pigs fly. Never in a million years would I have thought that this person was telling me a song and dance. Or I'd be in this situation. Look how the donkey is looking right at this. Looking down on this when pigs fly. Period. Done. Finished. Could also have something to do with a female. It's the end of sentence. Yeah, you didn't believe it, but here it is. It's the end of it. Perhaps it's the end of being center of attention. Perhaps it's the end of telling this story. Perhaps it's the end of announcing. headphones. Someone's not listening anymore. They're really looking at themselves, or they're only wanting to be with themselves, and maybe that's the end. It's the end of selfish, self-serving behaviors. We have a black hole. That would be an easy card just to go ahead and color. I really hope I can get into coloring, you guys. I really miss it. I need to get it done. I'm literally out on the road. If I'm not on the road, I'm walking the animals. If I'm not walking the animals, then I'm doing this. And if I'm not doing this, I'm sleeping. We've got gloves. Someone is fighting through this black hole, or being protective of this black hole. Maybe they wanted to lead in some kind of situation. Let's just take the gloves off. Because when you have the mentality of sneaky games and telling stories and falsities or whatnot, remember we had the to swear at the beginning with the cutting of the deck cards. It is, for me, I should say, I've always stuck to the truth because the truth is very easy to remember. It's the same story. The truth is the truth. It never changes. As we've got someone's car alarm going off. So maybe someone's having to fight this black hole that they've created for themselves because now they just can't keep things straight. What are they taking the plunge into? Pinocchio. Maybe they're taking the plunge into trying to become a real human being. That's all Pinocchio wanted, was to be real. With the alarm going off. I don't know if you guys can hear it. I would say, come on folks, don't you hear it? Outside, people should come and get it. But I know sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't think that's my car. I don't know. Always wanted to be a real boy. Telling these lies. Maybe the mystic told lies. Maybe the person that they went to that they thought was going to take the lead was telling falsities. And that's why, biblically speaking, the Bible says, do not go to psychics. I'm not a psychic, by the way. I'm not a medium. I'm a creator. I'm an artist. But someone could have went to some sort of mystic, some sort of know-it-all, and maybe that person misled this individual. Now you have to be mindful, there are the psychics that you deal with, you're dealing with their perception of things. So their perception of things may not be your perception of things. These are the way that they see things. This is the way that they hear things. These are the way that they sense things. And the way that they do all of their senses may not be the way that you handle and do all of your senses. You may not see things the same way. Just like these cards, I could be telling the story as far as what I see in the cards in this story, and you can see the same cards and come up with a totally different story. It just depends on the way that you process things. Not only that, but the roles can be reversed and flipped. That's always important to keep in mind. So when you hear these things, you just got to take it with a grain of salt. The rivet. The mystic could have said this person is a big fat liar, they're sneaky, and they just hop from house to house, from lily pad to lily pad. Or they could look at the frog card and say, oh, this person is promiscuous because they just kiss a whole bunch of people. They get intimate with a bunch of people. And so whatever the little mystic said, when in actuality it could be you're going on a walk and you saw a frog hop across the sidewalk. Do you see what I mean? We've got balding. So there could be actually in this case, and I'm going to use this part of the story, that this person was very self-centered. They saw a way to get a new opportunity or a new start on things. Maybe they invested in seeing a someone who does witchcraft. They let that take the lead of the situation in order to tamper with somebody's independence. And this person could be discovering all of this, and they were like, in a million years would I've never have thought that that person would have done that. But they did. So this person isolates themselves. They tune out the rest of the world. On the flip side, it could be the person who was doing all of this, and now they've woken up from their decisions, and they've decided that they're going to go ahead and go down the rabbit hole, fighting their own shadows, taking the plunge in discovering the fact that, yes, you were lying to yourself, or you're lying to other people, and it's obvious that you were lying to other people. Maybe it's obvious that this mystic was lying to you for whatever reason. Maybe they just liked you and they wanted you for themselves. This person gets around and they're feeling a little bit vulnerable, upsetting the apple cart. Someone didn't want to upset the apple cart. Maybe they decided that they were going to tell a fib so they didn't have to make everyone upset for the fact that they sold their integrity. How embarrassing for someone to do that. It would be embarrassing for them if they actually had cared about what other people thought, right? But I have a feeling the majority of people who sell their integrity probably don't care much about what other people say. And for those who sell their integrity because they feel like they have to, they're forced to because they don't want to upset the apple cart, you know. But overall, regardless of what someone's reasoning is, there is forgiveness there, should you want it. Just because you made a choice back in your immature Neanderthal days doesn't mean that you have to stay stuck in that choice. And again, by taking responsibility for those choices, it's just a moment of time, right? Might appear to be like a negative though, right? Someone sold their integrity during this whole period of time, perhaps, because they only saw what was in front of them. They didn't take the long-range plan or story or outcome of that. They probably just figured everything would just work out great. There's no way in a million years, right? So it's time to take a break. Take a pause. We've got a lot of introspection cards here, right? Maybe take a pause from telling the stories. Pinocchio always tried to go towards trying to be a boy, right? But he was never succeeded. Throughout the entire story, he kept trying and trying and trying, and he kept failing, failing, failing. But does it mean that you stop trying? No. Keep trying. The only failure is not trying. Honestly. Because at least you're trying. It's saying more for the people. It's saying more for you than it is the people who just give up and don't try. Situational ship. Maybe this relationship with the mystic was part of a situational ship, and maybe this person is taking a pause on that relationship with that mystic. It's like you don't know what to call it. Is it a friendship? Is it a relationship? Is it just a casual, you know? I don't know what this is. Are we friends? Are we not friends? We've got the copycat here. A situational ship with a copycat. Maybe it's your copycat. Maybe it's someone who has no originality on their own. Walking away. The penguin walking away from the group. So perhaps this person is taking a break from this whole situation and realizing they just need to take a break and walk away. The copycat could be walking away. Maybe the copycat thinks it's just too hard to be you, or whomever it is that they're copying. Maybe they're finding the dignity within themselves and realizing that this person never really just loved you. You were just there. And because you use spell work or whatever in order to make this person love you, you're finally realizing this person doesn't really love me. It was just the spell work that made them love me. And how does that make you feel? It would make you feel kind of vulnerable, right? And again, even in that situation, folks, if you use spell work to make someone love you, you need to chalk it up with it just being a poor choice, a bad decision, and apologize. Take responsibility, grow from it, and move on. Sure, you made the choices for this person, and sure, you made it so they couldn't have a choice whether they wanted to be there or not. And sure, you didn't want to rely on yourself and your own efforts and the trust and the faith and the chemistry that might have been there should you had done it organically. But when the individual wakes up from the spell work, what do you have? Egg on your face? And even then, you can pick yourself up and you can move on and you can just vow to never do it again. Because you are enough for the right person who's meant to be with you. I guarantee that there is someone for everyone. I mean, obviously, if you think highly enough of yourself that you think that you can lure this person in, there's going to be someone else who you're not going to have to lure in. And they're going to think highly of you because you stood on integrity. I might have jumbled my words just then, but that's okay. I'm human. I don't know, folks. I don't know. Sometimes you just don't know because you aren't that person and you can't understand things because you haven't lived it. So for the person who makes those kinds of choices, it makes all the reason in the world for them. And it makes the most sense. Maybe that's just the way they were brought up and raised. Or maybe they just saw how great of a tool it is to be able to do this, not thinking about the other person at the time because they were just so self-centered and wanting what they wanted. I've got the outcome card of being lucky. Doing the right thing. Will always produce luck, so to speak. Doing the right thing produces positivity, which will always bring luck. Yeah, sometimes it's hard because if you stand on integrity, you have to say no to some really tempting situations. But the freedom in denying those things that seem like they're very tempting, denying those things that would cost you your integrity, brings so much more. So much more that money can't even buy. multiplied. The outcome from walking away from this copycat situational ship and all of the spell work and all of the things that you just, the lying, the manipulation, the sneaky tactics. Luck multiplied. Just walk away from it. You'll get so much more if you just live in integrity. So much more. And I can attest for the people who do live in integrity, I know that you can say this is true. Being tangled up in a group that you truly don't belong in and you just try to copy and just be just like them, it's not even who you really are. I mean, do you really like being part of a situational ship? How does it make you feel? Has to do with a Pisces in their south node, someone with the initial of D, ahead of time, childhood. These could be from childhood wounds. It could be someone that you've known since childhood. The number 11. Once upon a time, it was not a fantasy. It was not a fairy tale, folks. Food. Someone fed you. Someone fed you an apology. Eleven adds up to a 2, which is a choice, and it's also a couple. Ahead of time, childhood. Ahead of childhood. A childhood dream? Maybe they were living their childhood. Maybe they grew up too fast. Making an apology will fill your soul. Maybe someone's going to feed you an apology and it's going to be still part of their tactics, antics. Maybe they just want to get in your house. Eleven is not perfect, right? This person's not perfect. Life is not perfect. Life is not a fairy tale. Someone was envious. Cancer in their south, almost south node. Maybe they're coming to grips. We had gossip, timing, promises, sunshine. Got a lot of water signs on the table. I don't think we have any other signs, like as far as, even we have water with the crocodile. We do have an air sign, I guess, with the pig flying with the air. Someone made promises of sunshine. I can't see what that is. Oh, the timing. Timing again. Ahead of time, timing, gossip, Pisces. The timing of the gossip was awful. Envious. That's why they were a copycat. Envy is not, nobody's perfect, folks. I'm just going to say that again. Someone was lying about the fact that they were envious. With time, the promises is sunshine, and that goes with this lucky multiplied. Look, the penguin's walking right towards that. I don't know if you can see that part. We've got love when I stop the shuffle. I'd like to make some more of these too. We've got magic, heirloom upside down. Someone did not inherit their magic, I guess. Or maybe they lost their ability to do magic. Cheese, either smiling or it has to do with money. Suave, something's clearing. They don't care. We've got time over here coming in over the timing again. So it's, what is that thing that they say? Oh, just a matter of time before this gossip is truly revealed. Perhaps they're going to act all suave about it and act like they just don't care. Like, oh, that's no big deal. But the magic is getting cleared here. Who knows how long it's been going on for? Generations. Even centuries. I have a theory that that person that I spoke about earlier in the read was actually someone. I believe in past lives, and I feel like this individual and I have had a constant every lifetime situation where this situation between us is trying to get worked out. So if for some reason this person is watching these videos, I'm trying to tell you, you always lived in a way of the things that you thought were going to happen, but you never lived in the present and never saw what was right in front of you. My story is the same. I loved you. But you know, maybe you just never wanted me to love you. For whatever reason. But when love is love, it's real. And it never goes away. So, true love, that is. So regardless if you want me to love you or not, and maybe that's why you didn't want anyone to love you. I love you as God loves all his children. As I love everyone that way, to a certain extent. Meaning, there's just some people that you have a deeper love for just because, you know. I mean, do I really need to explain? But I do. Every person I come in contact with, I seriously love these people, and strangers and people I don't even know exist alike. I love them all. And I just want the best for everyone. But this individual that I've been speaking of, truly, I just wanted to love them whole. And when they say love isn't enough, sometimes it truly isn't, because that other person has to want it too, and has to want to love as well. And when they can't love themselves, they're not going to love anyone else. So you let them go, and you let them live their life to be able to be responsible for their own choices. And you distance yourself. You walk away from the situation because it's like, you know what? I can't be a part of that anymore. It's not healthy. So because you value peace, you walk away and you leave it be. And you hope for them, or pray, whatever your word choices are, and you pray that they find themselves and their way out of a black hole. And you pray that they find a way of life not selling themselves short, or selling their integrity, or telling falsities or lies. And perhaps one day they will wake up and want to live an authentic life. facing all of their shadows, all of their sneaky ways, perhaps lies. This is all alleged, folks, in your scenario. Because again, I can't say what this person's true motives, personality, or choices are. Because I will never know, just like no one will ever know other than that person. And usually that person doesn't know sometimes too when they're in that state. But I can guarantee you that if you live a life of integrity, of honesty, of transparency, of truth, honor, and with the open of the deck cards that we had with the swearing on that biblical book, when you live in that place, there's true luck and there's true blessings that are multiplied. Growth is there. With that being said, folks, make it a great day. I'm going to go ahead and film the video portion that will probably be out in October. Wow. I was going to say on the 10th. And hopefully you'll be able to catch it and watch it there. Boy, I've just got like, oh. Thanks for being here. Make it a great day. Take care. Sorry about that. I don't know if it's still streaming. Bye.